So in this video, again, we're going to talk about the dural sinuses. If you're coming over from watching from the textbook video I did, hopefully this makes a lot more sense for you. So let's just go ahead and dive right in. Here's that falx cerebri. Again, it's going to sit between those two halves of the brain. So you're going to have that right hemisphere, this left hemisphere. You're going to have that superior sagittal sinus sitting on the top, running all the way over. And then that falx cerebri is going to come in and connect to that crista galla on that ethmoid bone. Okay. So for following the blood flow, again, it's going to come from superior sagittal sinus. It's going to come all the way up and around, and it's going to drain down into what's called your confluence. That confluence is the reasoning why we have what's called the inion in that bone. Where that inion is, that's where your confluence is. So again, superior sagittal sinus to the confluence to the transverse. Okay, it's going to come down, it's going to connect into your sigmoid sinus, and then it's going to connect into your internal jugular vein. Your tentorium right here, that tentorium cerebelli on the sides, that's what's going to separate your cerebral hemispheres from your cerebellum, which is down here. Your cerebellum is going to be divided by that falx cerebelli as well. So kind of creates like quarters divided in the brain. So there's that right there. Let's take a look at this inferior sagittal sinus. Remove this. So here's that inferior sagittal sinus. It's going to come down, if you remember, it's going to connect with that straight sinus, then into the confluence, and then into the transverse sinus, the sigmoid, and then the internal jugular vein. This is that great cerebral vein gaining. Kind of see it right there. So let's go ahead and look at this, where there is a brain in the model. So it kind of changes it up a little bit. So now you can kind of visualize how that falx cerebri sits in between those two hemispheres, right? See that a little bit better. Just like we said, it's going to divide that brain up into 4 different quarters, dividing that cerebellum and cerebral, and cerebellum from, well, I just said that, but you can kind of see that right there. I really like this because you can actually see that cranial nerve number 1 coming in and sitting right on top of that cribriform plate, the ethmoid bone. So here's cranial nerve number 1, and then here, that's your optic chiasm. That's where your optic nerves come from your eyes, and then they come through this chiasm, and some of those fibers cross. We'll get into that a little bit later. And then right underneath is your pituitary. And if you remember, the pituitary sits inside the sella turcica in the sphenoid bone, and it releases the 3 different hormones. If you remember, you pet the pituitary, so because you pet it, PET, it releases progesterone, estrogen, and testosterone. Really quick, while we're in this is your pons. Those allow for communication between your cerebellum, the left and right side, and then you have your medulla sitting right underneath the pons. And then from there it would be your spinal cord down here. Alright, there's just one more tab I want to show you. So you can kind of see where that internal jugular vein comes from. If you're trying to figure out where to insert that in the book, just throw it right in front of that styloid process of the temporal bone. But that's kind of the outside right there. But as we rotate it, we'll actually get a look inside. So now you can kind of see that falx cerebri comes up, and it comes right there to the calvarium and connects in. Definitely a tight fit in there. Everything has its place, right? So falx cerebri, tentorium cerebelli. Let's pull this up so you can see. Kind of lower in this, but you can kind of see where that confluence is. It's going to form that median that's right there. A great cerebral vein ganglion kind of sitting right in the middle in there. And you can see how well it hides in here. Like, it has its place. Its passage, I guess, is the right way to say it. Maybe. And there's that underneath you. Just so you can see where the internal jugular vein actually is. So that's really the dural sinuses right there. If we remove this, there's that other half of the brain right there. Okay, if you have any questions about anything else, try and find in the videos. Definitely going to be a video on everything in here. So hopefully that answers it. If not, just leave a comment below. And go ahead and just please like the videos if they've been helpful so far. Alright, I just want to give credit where credit is due. These are the books and the resources I used for the videos. So first we have Essentials of Human Anatomy by Dr. Kurt Walker. We then have Essential Clinical Anatomy by Keith L. Moore and M.R. Auger and Arthur F. Daly. I also used Structure and Function of the Human Body by Mark Nielsen and Jamie Garbett. The last book I have is The Concise Book of Trigger Points by Simon Neil Asher. And then I used the app called Complete Anatomy. As you've seen from the videos, it's amazing. If you can afford it, I suggest it. It's such a useful tool when learning this stuff. So that's it. Have a good day.